Gamingville presents 15 best online co-op first-person shooters. Co-op games have been a staple of gaming for decades, whether it's blasting through Contra or finishing Halo 3 on Legendary. Though more games are beginning to emphasize online co-op to the exclusion of split screen, they still offer some pretty fun experiences. Let's take a look at first-person shooters and examine 15 titles with the best online co-op. Halo 5 Guardians. If this was solely about split-screen co-op, then another Halo title would have won the day. Nevertheless, even with the underwhelming story and short playtime, Halo 5 Guardians offered a fun online co-op experience. Flanking with teammates and commanding vehicles together felt like the good old days at times. Of course, 343 Industries also added Warzone Firefight, providing 8-player co-op and wreck cards against waves of enemies, which was nice as well. Left 4 Dead 2. While Left 4 Dead blazed a trail for co-op shooter titles, especially those with AI directors and hordes of enemies punctuated by special units, Left 4 Dead 2 offered that and more. More weapons, more variety in objective play, and arguably tighter map design meshed well with the responsive shooting, expanded melee weapons, and new special infected. Furthermore, with all of the mods available, from character models like Lollipop Chainsaw's Juliet to maps like the Battle of Helm's Deep from Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers, there's near endless replay value here. Warhammer Vermintide 2. The follow-up to Fat Shark's breakout hit, Warhammer Vermintide 2 takes the Left 4 Dead approach even further. Along with sick loot, there are also now subclasses, more expansive levels, and even more wry exchanges between the heroes, and much more. Also, in terms of melee combat, Warhammer Vermintide 2 is even more exciting, as you're encouraged to hack into the hordes of chaos and Skaven almost relentlessly. Borderlands 2. Borderlands 2 is the best co-op looter shooter out there. Yes, it's better than The Division and Destiny. In fact, despite releasing in 2012, Borderlands 2 still offers tons of side quests, weapons to grind for, raid bosses to beat, build possibilities, and mayhem for co-op play. The cel-shaded art style may not click for everyone, but if you want what's essentially an FPS Diablo, then Borderlands 2 with all of its DLC is the ticket. Portal 2. Technically more of a puzzle platformer, Portal 2 still requires plenty of cooperation and ingenuity while in first-person perspective. Taking place after the single-player campaign, robots Atlas and Peabody are our heroes here as they navigate 5 test chambers and contend with GLaDOS. Basically, take the ingenuity required for solving Portal 2's solo puzzles and throw in another body. Watch the hilarity and/or anger unfold. Payday 2. Payday 2 has had its share of controversies over the years, but stands out as one of the best heist simulators out there. Players take on different roles, and heists can range from breaking into jewelry stores to cracking open enormous vaults. Taking hostages, avoiding cameras, and preventing alarms from going off is one way to successfully complete a heist. Alternatively, you can shoot up a building and engage in urban warfare with everyone from the police to the FBI. Payday 2 can be tough, especially when playing solo, but understand how to achieve success, and there's no feeling like it. Dead Island. The Dying Light before Dying Light, Dead Island combined melee combat with survival, skill trees, and zombies. Though there are guns, the beginning of the game focuses more on bashing enemies with anything you can get your hands on. Weapons can be upgraded but also require maintenance, and combined with the semi-open world, trying to survive with friends and escape the horrors of Banoi Island can be a harrowing experience. Killing Floor 2. Of course, if mowing down all manner of infected, or Zed, is your idea of a good time, then Killing Floor 2 has you covered. Tripwire Interactive's first-person shooter implemented a perk system and even some dynamic difficulty not unlike Left 4 Dead's AI director. Furthermore, there's a PvP mode where one player can control a Zed and fight human players with it. The flux of special events, new weapons, and updates are pretty frequent, even if things seem to get a little bizarre as time goes on. Summer Sideshow, we're looking at you. Far Cry 5. Expanding on its predecessor, Far Cry 5 allows players to complete the entire game with a friend. So whether you're exploring the area together, Far Cry 5 becomes a much more enjoyable experience in the process. Granted, having 4-player co-op like Far Cry 3's separate campaign would have been nice, but c'est la vie. Dying Light. Dying Light sees Techland embracing a truly open world, that too with plenty of verticality and more vicious zombies. The parkour system helps players navigate and can lead to some pretty tense moments after the sun goes down. Throw in world bosses, random events that players can opt into, and races for essential supplies along with harrowing new prison heist modes, and Dying Light will keep you busy for a long while. Shadow Warrior 2. Armed with juvenile humor, the goriest of action, and randomly generated levels, Shadow Warrior 2 is a rollicking good time when co-op. With more than 70 weapons and sheer mobility to fly through levels, it's not long before chainsaws, dual SMGs, dual katanas, and much more turn the most routine mission into a bloodbath with friends. The story may not be all that deep, but Shadow Warrior 2's open levels, quests, and limb chopping make up for that. Resistance 3. Online Pass aside, which made buying secondhand copies a pain, Resistance 3 offered a flexible and fun co-op experience. While the second player wasn't really acknowledged throughout the story, it was possible to hop in at any point with a friend, so if you completed the campaign solo and entered a co-op afterwards, you could continue onwards from that point. The fact that Resistance 3 offered a good campaign doesn't hurt either. Arma 3 Apex. When Arma 3 first launched, one of the biggest travesties was that co-op play wasn't possible. Actually, it became possible later, but with a mod. Enter Arma 3 Apex, an expansion which enabled co-op from the start. Not only that, but it provided a new war zone to muck about in, 13 new weapons, a new faction, new vehicles, and much more. It took a while, but Bohemia got it right, which is sadly something that can't be said about all of its games. Daisy. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. 2 words: terrorist hunt. The mode was synonymous with co-op play in the Rainbow Six Vegas games. In Rainbow Six Siege, there are 4 different variations of the mode with multiplayer-like objectives such as protecting hostages, disarming bombs, and so on. You can also play Terrorist Hunt Classic to take down a set number of enemies on a map, and don't worry, realistic difficulty is still as punishing as ever. It was also neat for Ubisoft to release Outbreak, Siege's take on zombie horde-style co-op, even if it was a limited-time event. Call of Duty Zombies. Zombies has been a popular staple in Call of Duty for some time now, and while there are plenty of different versions to go with, along with skill-based matchmaking, better leaderboards, and stat tracking, the mode featured the right mix of secrets and game modes. It never felt too outlandish while still being pretty zany in its own right. And that about does it for this video. If you enjoyed what you watched and want to see more from Gaming Bolt, you can always hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon next to it. That way you will never miss any of our videos.